Yo, so what's going on, guys? It is Pone, and today I'm about to do a commentary that I've been wanting to do for a couple weeks now, but I have not touched on it because I was trying to find the proper way to approach this without having too many issues. I finally come to the realization that that's not going to happen, so a lot of you guys, I want you guys to be patient, listen to the full commentary before you even take a moment to like or dislike the video or put a comment down. And there's going to be a lot of things that you guys will agree with me on, a lot of you guys, fully understand from me, and there's going to be some of you guys that fully dislike and don't want to even hear what I'm going to be talking about, and it may come across like I'm bashing something, but I want you guys to fully understand that before you react and do anything or say anything harsh in the comments or troll or anything, understand where I'm coming from, try to listen to it and see it through my eyes, because that's what I'm going to present it as. This is my opinion. If I come across strong or harsh or anything like that, that's just me, just heated up in the moment, and I just wanted to talk about this because there's going to be a lot of things in this commentary that I want to touch on, that I've been eager to do so. A lot of other commentators don't really try to dive into this because they're afraid of drama or talking about it, or they simply just, want to keep playing Modern Warfare 3 for the money and the views and everything like that. I, on the other hand, want to approach this and try to make it known, and I hope you guys can appreciate that I'm trying to open up and tell you my opinion on this, and you guys don't take it in a harsh manner. So, before we get into this, this is basically going to be my kind of review, overall review / pros and cons of Modern Warfare 3. Now, we're going to start off, we'll go back a couple years, where we had Modern Warfare 2. The game started off great, in my opinion, was the best Call of Duty title to date, with the exception, had they have removed noob tubes in that game, like entirely removed them, I don't say patched them, had they have removed noob tubes from that game and removed Commando, that would have been the best Call of Duty to date. It was a major upgrade from Call of Duty 4, lots of new guns, the attachments, the killstreaks, the, ingenuity that they put into this game, and the new maps, and everything about it was just a physical and, impressive upgrade from Call of Duty 4. Now, Call of Duty 4, I think, is the best all-around balanced one. I think it's got the least amount of bullshit in it, and that's why I've always gone back to that. That's the one that if I'm mad at another Call of Duty or tired of bullshit, I'd go back and play that game. Now, during the process, there are things that I find in all Call of Duties that, for the longest now, I've been trying to convince myself that, the games are great, because Modern Warfare 2 was a great game, COD 4 was a great game, and I would always convince myself that it's not the game that's broken, but instead it was actually the players that played it like douchebags that ruined the game for others. And that is true, but you also got to understand, I've been trying to convince myself that's how it is. I don't want to get mad at the game, because I'm not mad at the game. I love Modern Warfare 2. I love Modern Warfare 3. But there's a limit to where I can enjoy this game. So it gets to the point where basically I love the game, and then I hit my mark. I hit this mark where I get so agitated at the game. If I get in like 10 lobbies in a row, I can play for 4 hours straight. But if I get into a game and there's 3 bad games in a row, I just no longer want to play the game the rest of the day. I'm mad at it, don't want to touch it. And that's what I'm finding that's becoming more and more common, and it's the way that people play the game. But that's what I've always blamed it on. It was the people that are playing. But then I have to sit back and I have to realize that these game makers, these producers, these developers, they're putting this stuff in the game, and they keep saying they're going to fix things, and every time they try to fix something, they make something worse. So I've been trying to convince myself and just realize that it's the people that have been playing wrong, but in reality it's the developers that are putting things in these games that are allowing people to play like that. Now it's in human nature for somebody to take something and manipulate it for a personal gain. It's in human nature to try to make the best out of something, and if you have something at your disposal that is really, really good, why not use it? Makes common sense, definitely means something, but in a video game I don't think it should be taken so heavily, and I do overreact at the game sometimes. I do get mad. Everybody has their moments where they get upset about something, and I'm not necessarily talking about playstyles, camping, or anything like that. Now, I am not a fan of camping. I don't understand why somebody buys a game, spends $60 on it to sit in a corner the entire time. I don't think that any sort of way that is entertaining or fun to me. I'm not going to judge somebody that does that. However, I do not like people, the people that are actual commentators that post up and try to encourage that. I don't think that's an entertaining thing to watch. I mean, other people disagree with me, that's fine. But I don't think that it reflects any sort of, skill or hype or anything when you stand still and just head glitch and kill a guy that's in motion. He's fully vulnerable, you're not. Yes, it gives you an advantage, yes, it's successful. But on YouTube, it's not my thing to watch, it's not my cup of tea, and, we're getting off track right here. Now, let's hop into Modern Warfare 3. The game's fine. Visually, it's entertaining. And this is actually the first Call of Duty that I've actually enjoyed on the pros side of things, not the cons. On the pros side of things, this is the one Call of Duty that I've actually enjoyed probably 75% of the maps. A lot of people dislike Outpost. I kind of like it. There are a lot of maps that, I don't like about some of these games, and it's usually, as weird as it may be, my taste is definitely varied. I like maps in Modern Warfare 2 like Salvage and Bailout. A lot of people dislike those. I really, really did like them. I hated a lot of the original maps, like Wasteland, Derail. There were like 3 maps in the original Modern Warfare 2 that I liked. I think I liked Subbase, Afghan, and Terminal. I really, really did not have a thing. I mean, and Favela as well. So about half of the maps I enjoyed out of this. But the majority of this Modern Warfare 3 game, I like most of the maps. I think they did a great job. They balanced it. And one thing that I do like that maybe not a lot of people will agree with me on is the way that they've actually factored out the damage ratio and the guns. You use the guns in the situation to reflect on your playstyle. So if you wanted to be a rusher and you know you're going to be in a majority of close combat situations, you're going to want to use a submachine gun. And many of the other Call of Duties, you could use a submachine gun and make it happen in any sort of playstyle, whether or not you're campy or cautious. And even more so is the assault rifles. Take, for example, Modern Warfare 2. I could run around with an ACR, and half of the time I could end up killing a guy at point blank, even over a UMP-45. So I think they've done a really, really good job, because if I happen to run around and try to take a guy heads-on that's got a PP-90 or an MP7 or something like that, or even a shotgun, even without damage, I happen to run into a guy with an AK-47 or anything like that, most of the time I lose the gunfight, and it's because I'm entering in their domain. I'm running into a moment where I'm in their house. They have the advantage for being close range, and they usually win most of those gunfights. So I think they did a really, really good job in reflecting the damage. Now, one of the downfalls is I think they have a couple overpowered guns in this game, and I'm not one to usually go overpowered, because I've always had this mindset that if you take one of the guns out, something else is going to replace it, and it's going to be just as strong or just as potent as the other one. You'd have to remove like 4 or 5 guns out of the game or fully nerf them to make them on the same standards as the majority of the other guns. So take, for example, in Black Ops, they tried to nerf the FAMAS. I never saw a difference. So the FAMAS was still the #1 gun used in MLG. It's what everybody used. If they would have removed that gun, what would they have used? The AK-74U. If they would have removed that, it would have been like the AUG. Now think about it in Modern Warfare 3 terms. Now say they remove the one overpowered assault rifle in the game, which hands down, even though they said they patched, is still almost always a one-shot kill, and that is the Type 95. That gun is stronger than the FAMAS in Black Ops. That gun is stronger than the FAMAS in Modern Warfare 2. The gun is extremely unfair. I find that 90% of people use it, and they use it because it's the strongest gun in the game. Why not give yourself that advantage by using the gun? I don't see any fun or thrill or challenge out of doing so, but that's because I find myself to be a more skilled player. I don't need to give myself that kind of an advantage. I don't think that anybody should be given that kind of strength, because in reality, you don't have to be a skilled player to use a gun like a Type 95. So those that are actually skilled, that know what they're talking about, if they have any other gun versus a Type 95, 9 times out of 10, I lose it. Even in close range combat, it's a single shot burst. They can hip fire and beat somebody out with the MP7 or the PP90. And I don't think that's proper. I don't think that you should be able to give a bad player a gun that strong and then make them like a great player. I don't think that they should be handicapped like that. I think this game caters too much to bad players, and I think this game really, really reflects on praising people that aren't that good. And I don't think that that's how it should be. I think if you're not good at something, you train to try to get better. I don't think that you just honestly, just to make everybody happy, give everybody strong weapons or advantages for even the bad players, so it's a more of a level playing game. I don't think that's it. I think if you were to get better, you need to learn how to do. You need to earn it. I don't think you just give them the opportunities, and that's one thing that I think they really, really made a mistake on in making this game. A lot of the skilled players have had to change their playstyles and be more conservative. I mean, I watch Mark J commentary sometimes, and he's like head glitching and stuff like that, and that's not something I expect from him. I'm not saying it's bad. Don't get me wrong. I do it too, but that's how we've had to change our playstyle, and that's how you have to do it, because if somebody gets a drop on you, it's really, really difficult. So, with that being said, there's a lot of things in this thing I do like. I do like that they've improvised and they've brought in new Killstreaks. I like some of the cool Killstreaks. I like that they've made the Moab, aka the new nuke, a hidden force streak, that's not something to be equipped. I like that they've added the new Killstreaks in. I like that you could toggle through them. And I think that's a brilliant idea. I think that was something they brought in, and they really, really did a good thing. So what they tried to fix for Modern Warfare 2 that I totally just kind of, got turned off about is, the major complaints that we had in Modern Warfare 2, Commando, noob tubes. So what do? They try to fix the damage ratio for explosives, and that's what they do. So not only do they nerf noob tubes to where they're not near as potent or strong as they were before, they also killed the damage of frag grenades now. Frag grenades and Simtexes rarely get a kill now, and I think they need to beef the damage of those up, or the radius or something about them, because 9 times out of 10, even spawn grenades are impossible nowadays, because the grenades are not strong anymore. So I find myself would rather run around with a throwing knife than a grenade, and that's not what I'm used to. I don't think that's proper. I mean, it's an explosive. It's a fucking grenade. Take some knees off. That's what it's supposed to do. So, they tried to fix that, and I think they messed up. Not only did they try to remove Commando as well, but it's literally a coin toss when you knife somebody. If I'm on close range combat, and it's not because I'm used to lunging or anything like that, I can literally be up on a guy, making out with him, and I try to cut him, and it doesn't work. So it's like, despite the range and the advantage of you being close, the knives they're dummy knives now. So I find that half of the time I try to knife somebody, unless you've got specialist on or something like that, the knifing system is broken as well. And I'm not saying they need to bring back the lunge. I just think they should fix the knives. That's just my personal opinion on it. So I think they tried to fix a few things and in turn broke a couple things. And I think there's two things that they really need to focus on fixing. I think they need to fix the knifing system and they need to make grenades stronger. As well as, like I was talking about, I think they're catering more to the bad players. Now, one thing that they've done and they've tried to improvise on is making it so that the bad players can have a more enjoyable experience. And like I said, I don't like people just being given the opportunity. I think they should earn it and learn to get better. I mean, if you're a bad player, you're going to have that drive to keep trying to get better. You're going to want to keep getting better. So I think what they need to do is they need to either remove the Type 95 or try to nerf it, dramatically. It fires way too quick. You put something like rapid fire on it. I mean, there's so many attachments on that gun that you can use, and it's always a one-shot kill, and it's got virtually no recoil. The gun is extremely overpowered, so they need to do something like that, and that's what I was talking about with the FAMAS and Black Ops. It's usually a chain effect. If you remove the strongest gun, something else will step up and take its place. But I don't think that's so much the case in Modern Warfare 3. You remove the Type 95, what do people have to fall back on? MK14 is pretty strong, but that's really a selective crowd that can use that at a proficient level. I mean, you have to have a fast trigger finger, you have to be accurate, it does have a considerable amount of recoil, so, there are guns they would use and there are things that they'll need to adjust to, but I mean, what would people fall back on? The FAD, SCAR-L, ACR, all of those guns, I can interchange them. I can't say that the SCAR-L is better than the ACR, I can't say it's better than the FAD, I can't say it's better than the AK-47. That's going to come down to the G36. Those are pretty balanced in my mind, so I think if you were to remove or completely nerf the type and bring it down to their level, everything would be happy. Now, as well as the submachine guns, I think that there really aren't any overpowered submachine guns. I think they did pretty well at making those. Now, there are two other guns that I think are overpowered, and one of which you guys will agree with me. The other one, you guys will probably be like, what, Pwn, don't say that, because you guys like to use it. As fun as it may be and other commentators use it, and even as though I use it a lot, it does have a little bit of limitations, but I do think it's a little strong in its area. And then that's the striker. A lot of you guys are like, what are you talking about? I mean, you put extended mags, damage and range on that. Anyone in close to medium range is going to die from, if not one shot, two shots. And when you've got 20 fucking shells to put into a guy or a room full of guys, that gun reigns supreme. Now, though I love the gun to death and I use it, I don't think they really need to fix it because it does have its limitations. But again, I mean, you're not going to use that on a map like Derail or something. So you're going to use it in the map where you're going to have the advantage with. And that's a gun that I think they need to maybe consider nerfing a little bit. Not trying to be mean. I love the gun. And, I wouldn't be mad if they didn't fix it at all. But that's just being realistic about it. Now, the other thing that I think they need to remove entirely, I think they need to either cut out the akimbo on it or do something to it, and that is the akimbo FMG9s. The strongest setup in the game. Every submachine gun will lose to an FMG9 fight akimbo fucking half the time. The FMG9 might as well be a submachine gun because it's as strong as any of the other submachine guns. So, when you akimbo it, what happens is when you akimbo it, you've got double the power, and it actually becomes more stable and becomes more accurate at distance. So when you actually akimbo them, not only is it double the power, but it's also double the accuracy, and I think that's extremely overpowered. They need to either remove that entirely, put it over in the submachine category. They need to do something about those guns because those are the guns that annoy me more than anything, including the Type 95. So, with the flaws out of the way, that's just been kind of the thing. The one more thing that's really, really been bugging me has been like I said, the way that they cater to some of these bad players. The one thing that's really, really been, grinding my gears is the idea that they've brought in these death streaks. Now, I don't understand the idea. I don't know who come up with this or who was like, yeah, man, let's sit down, have a lunch, grab some Subway, and talk about how to piss Pwn off. Why praise somebody for doing bad? I understand why they're trying to make people have an advantage by bringing in the Type 95. I don't agree with it, but I can understand the idea, the concept that they drew down on paper to make that. I understand that. I understand bringing in support killstreaks. I hate them more than, frickin' life itself. I just can't stand them. So, what I wanted to talk about is bringing in death streaks. Now, they promised us. They told us. They themselves told us that Last Stand, Second Chance will not be back. They told us. They brought it back. So, that's one of the biggest flaws I have. The one thing I hate about this game, and it's even to the point that you have to kill the guy because he gets up 5 seconds later. So you make sure you have to finish him off. Not only is he put in the second chance, but he also still has his primary gun. And if one of your buddies happens to kill him, you don't even get the points for him for putting him on his ass. I think that's completely messed up. I think they need to remove that entirely. We've complained about that for years and years and years, and they bring that in. I don't know what's worse, them continuously putting it in, or you guys that happen to actually use that. You should be ashamed in yourself. I don't, and I hate that excuse being given, it's in the game, I can use it. No, that's exactly what a coward would fucking say. I can't stand when people do that. And not only is that bad enough, what have they done? They've improvised. They've brought in Dead Man's Hand. So not only do you go into second chance, you also have C4 that's got a bigger blast radius than a fucking Predator missile. I have been 400 feet away from a guy that I put in a dead man's hand, and I've died. And half the time when I put a guy into second chance, or I mean last stand or dead man's hand, I don't know which it is. So half the time I got to shoot the guy and run away because I don't know if I'm going to get blowed up. I don't. And that's one of the things you have to understand and adjust to is I don't think they should be praised. I don't think they should be able to kill the guy that killed them. I mean, it's already bad enough that you've got martyrdom. You got martyrdom, so why bring in something like Dead Man's Hand? It's the same damn thing. If you think about it, at least there's a reaction time for martyrdom, and the nades are weaker. So why bring in something like Dead Man's Hand? I've never fully understood that. I think it's a bad perk to bring in. We hate Last Stand so much, you bring something in that's even worse. It's extremely, extremely uncomfortable to understand that why they come up and they drew up these ideas, and that's one of the worst things I think they've done in this Call of Duty thing. Now let's talk about something cool. The Killstreaks. They've brought in cool Killstreaks. They brought in the Reaper. I think the idea behind that is like a repetitive Predator kind of missile-like thing. I think it was great. I like tons of the new Killstreaks that they brought in. Now the one thing, and the Specialist is impressive. If you can get those 7 or 8 kills and level yourself up, it's a great addition to the game. You can be Superman, but everybody's got the advantage of that. There's no, this and that. You got to build your perks and play to your playstyle, and you get the advantage of being Superman when you do so. So I thought that was a cool addition. I really don't get mad at that. I really don't. I mean, I think it's cool. I mean, if you're limiting yourself to not having any kill streaks, you might as well perform better in a sexual manner. So why not? So why not get out there and you get all the proficiencies, you get all the perks. You're superhuman. So that's cool. So I like the assault streaks. I like the other ones. Let's talk about support. Now, the support kill streaks, like I said, catering to bad players. I understand if you want to, make it evil, because not everybody's a great player. I understand this. I'm not trying to be mean or anything like that. I like the idea between, letting somebody level up and, after they die, their streaks run over. That's cool. Why not make it to where there are no lethal kill streaks in there? I don't think they should have an airdrop or a stealth bomber. You know how many of my streaks have been ruined by somebody that hadn't earned it, hasn't really earned it, but they get 9 kills and they get a stealth bomber, can wipe out everybody on the map? I don't think that's fair. I really think they need to remove lethal kill streaks entirely from support, because support can be countered by Assassin Pro. And I'm not one of those guys that really, really hates Assassin Pro. If it's used properly, if somebody rushes around with it, that's fine. The idea behind creating a perk such as that is to be able to not be seen on radar, get behind them, flank it, tuck it between the cheeks. You're supposed to get around and maneuver. Now, when somebody sits in a corner or in a bush with it, I think that's playing it and using it the wrong way, and that's what's usually frowned on upon. But even still, it doesn't bother me as much as Ghost and some of these other things do. I don't know why, but it also makes, I think it's a little overpowered, and it's convinced to make people use it even more because there's not a second perk that's worth having over it. So one thing that I thought they should have done about Assassin is completely cut down the damage on the guns. Bring back stopping power. And a lot of you guys are, what are you talking about? Bring back stopping power. It would make people choose between Assassin and stopping power. If you brought stopping power, and most of the guys would want to use it, I'd put stopping power in all my classes. I really would. I would not equip Assassin at all. I don't know what it is, but that's just how it is. I think there should be a competitive secondary perk for some of the strong ones. You got to fight in between which one of those. So I think that's one idea. The one thing that they should have done is possibly brought back stopping power and improvised that into the second tier. It would have been a great idea, and that's just my opinion on it. I was always a fan of stopping power. Very few guns in Modern Warfare 2 were really, really strong without it. ACR wasn't bad. The UMP-45 didn't need it, but when it had it, it just made it that much more stronger. So, I can understand why people didn't like it, but right now everything's got built-in stopping power anyway. So if they removed that and had somebody choose between those, I think that would have been like a brilliant idea. But back on topic, back to the support kill streaks. They cater and they try to make these players better. So not only do they have the death streaks in there to praise and award the people that did bad and died 5 times in a row and kill other people and ruin their streaks and make it worse for the people that actually earned that kill, they also bring in things like the support kill streaks. I like the idea between praising people that might not be able to get an Osprey Gunner themselves, might not be able to get up to a Juggernaut or even a Predator. There aren't great players out there. A lot of just average, decent players, and I understand that. So I liked the idea. I liked to maybe bring in kill streaks to help them out. Why not just make it UAV, counter UAV, stuff like that, the EMP, things like that. I like the idea behind that. It kind of helped out their team a little bit, but it really, really did not hurt the other team too much. It just gave them a disadvantage and allowed you guys to stay solid with it. So I like the idea behind that. I really, really hated the fact that they brought in the lethal kill streaks. Now, what I think they should do is if they're going to keep the lethal kill streaks in there, I think an alternative to that would be something really, really impressive, which would be maybe make it that you can't just keep stacking up kills, but it's like 1 life. So if you get like 4 kills in 1 life, die, and get another 5 in the next one and die, then you have the stealth bomber. I think they should have like 1 death between kill streaks, and then they could do it. I don't think they should be able to get like 14 kills and during that period stack up their support kill streaks. I don't think somebody can just get to 17 kills and call in a support airdrop or something like that. I don't think they should be praised for dying numerous times because in all reality that could guarantee just an average person a major kill streak or an airdrop or a stealth bomber. And I don't think somebody that plays or doesn't earn them should be praised for that. But You know, like I said, guys, that's pretty much a summary. I think I've touched on most of it. I like the maps. I like the kill streaks. I like toggling through kill streaks. I like the addition of some new guns. Even the shotguns are cool. I think they did a really, really good job in adding these proficiencies. It makes you want to earn those shotguns and do things. I like how they've improvised leveling up the guns individually. I thought that was a great addition. I like the majority of the maps. I think they've done a really good job in trying to bring in some of the new ideas, which is one of the hardest things to do, is bring in new ideas that people like. I think they need to remove death streaks entirely, or if they keep them, just keep like Juiced or maybe Revenge on there, or just cut out Revenge and put on Hollow Points or something. Why is Hollow Point a 6 kill streak or a 6 death streak? So it's like, if you're going to praise the bad people and give them the opportunity to have lethal kill streaks and support, or give them death streaks or something like that, don't make them lethal. Don't make it to where they can ruin kill streaks for the people that actually earned them. I don't think that's right. That's like payback. Why should I be killed for killing somebody else? It just doesn't logically, pan out to me. So, like I said, guys, I'm tired. I'm sorry that this is a long video, but this is something I really had to touch on, and I know it's 2 videos of Call of Duty in one day, so I'll stack up 2 gameplays in a row for you guys to watch. I really wasn't watching anything when I was commentating about this, but I'm sorry it was such a long video. Hopefully you guys have lived through this and been through this long enough to understand what's going on. And remember, this was all my opinion. This is just what I feel about the game and what I think they could do to make it better. They keep saying they're going to patch things and fix things, and I've yet to see so. They've promised that for years. They promised they were going to fix One Man Army in YouTube. They promised they were going to patch the FAMAS and Black Ops. I've never seen anything change from these games. And it's because, I think we pay into their bullshit and we buy the same title every year. When once they make their money, they don't care anymore. So, with that being said, I think that's about it. I think it's about wrapped up. I don't think there's anything else I really need to talk about or talk into. So, thanks for watching, guys. If you guys enjoyed the commentary, feel free to rate up the video. Let me know what you guys think. And if you guys want to get this out there a little bit more, remember to just leave some comments down below, spread it around. And yeah, so that's about it, guys. So thanks for watching. Let me know your opinions down below. Peace out, guys. Get it.